Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a video on the game that changed my mind on what can be horror. Yes, this card game before you is a horror game, a psychological horror game to be precise. And on that note, I'm not putting all of the possible triggers for this review? Yeah, we'll call it a review. I would probably have an easier time listing the ones that aren't in this video game. But I will tell you that if you intend to play this game, there are some moments with intense flashing visuals and audio. Now I won't be including those in this video, but you have been warned if you do choose to play this game after this. I have never been so happy to be wrong about a video game. Yes, here I am talking to you about a game that has been out for years now. If you're a skeptic like I was, sitting there with the thought, oh, a card game can't be a horror game. I hope to change your mind like many others have for me. I will try to keep spoilers to a minimum for the first part of this video, so there's stuff for you to explore. Then later on, I will give you a warning as to when I dive into spoiler content, so I can continue to gush about this game to anyone who has beaten it, or just doesn't care about being spoiled at all. But I will say this now, there's a lot more than meets the eye. Looking at this game at first glance, and being someone with time into Yu-Gi-Oh, I was well acquainted with the Shadow Realm. So, in my head, that's all a game focused on cards and horror could be. Ooga booga, I lost my life points. To the gulag I go. And the genius that is this game starts there. It would be too easy to say you die in the game, you die in real life. Inscryption takes it a slightly different route. Instead of a simple game over screen and a reload last save, you were forced to wallow in defeat in a process that makes you feel like a complete and total failure. If you get taken out before you get to the end, you have to start from the beginning. This game will punish you for losing your life. You are playing a roguelike after all. Now, you do have essentially 2 lives before you have to start over, but when it comes to boss fights, you can forget about that. It is do or die. And die you will, because this game is BS. But I say that lovingly. This game will teach you a lesson when it sees fit. And you better get used to the fact that sometimes life just deals you a bad hand, which can be pretty frustrating. You did everything you thought you were supposed to, and ended up back at square one. Your opponent just had better things than you did. This game has mastered the illusion of choice. Yeah, you can win some rounds. You can even solve a few puzzles. Oh, did I forget to mention that this has puzzles? Yeah, tacked on to the base card game is an escape room? I'ma be honest. I've beat the game and I still can't tell you if escaping this room is the goal. I think it is, but is it? And I think that statement makes more sense once you beat the game too, right? There are things within the room that do things. Some of them will help you on your journey of escaping. And some of them are just bonuses to have, like you can grab some extra cash. Yeah, cash. Or just items to tip the scales in your favor. Yes, even though this game will feel like it is cheating you out of a win, it will give you your own tools to play dirty as well. And here's some advice on that front. Use them. Don't be as stubborn or forgetful as I was. I definitely made some rounds harder than needed, which cost me several lives. All because I trusted too heavily in the heart of the cards. Those tools are there for you to use, and they can be refilled. I ended up with too many pack rat cards because I never used items by the time a rest stop came. I would also like to point out that I use the term rest stop extremely loosely. This is not a waypoint you go back to. You simply get to refill items before continuing the journey, which is another thing to be aware of. Planning your next move goes beyond the cards in your hand. You get to direct your little figurine down the map our GM has planned, so take into consideration which fights you would prefer to take and what NPCs you want to interact with. This can make your playthrough a lot easier or a lot harder. You don't have any say on what boss you run into at the end of a map, but if you're paying attention, you can make it so that you're ready for them. And the bosses, on that note, have their fair share of tricks as well. Each bring in a different mechanic to juggle throughout the fight, as well as their cards having interesting properties. I'll let you find out what each one does, because I'm not here to tell you everything, that'll spoil the fun. But I will let you know this right now. I hate the Trapper. That is a sentence I never thought I would say as a DBD player, but I really hate Trapper. But beyond that, just what this game is, right? How do you sell somebody something without letting them know why it's so good? Do I try to just tell you this, hey, this is a good thing, and you take my word for it and go buy a magic bean and hope it grows into a beanstalk? Is that what we do here? There's a lot to this game that I truly was not ready for. I thought that I only bought a card game. But no, this is so much more. If you are remotely into horror, or maybe even if that isn't your shtick, if this is something that can catch your eye for even a second, why not give it a try? It has the luxury of not being AAA price. At the time of recording, it's definitely not, and I don't believe it released that way. It's always been one of the like $20-ish games, and that's something pretty genius with this. I would tell you right now, I would have happily paid full AAA game price had I known how great this game was. So if you are even on the fence, maybe waiting for a sale, give this a try. But beyond that, I want to talk about why I'm making this video for Inscryption. I've become very cynical on horror gaming. You have too many AAA games that are just really not good. I don't want to say they're terrible, because some people, will enjoy what they enjoy, but they're not good, and their only shtick can be something as, oh, remember when you played this as a kid? Well, we made something like it, so here's this crappy game for $70. And then on the other front, you want to support like the small indie horror stuff, which comes out for like 2 pieces of lint and a nickel. But there's a lot that I've played and seen that unfortunately I still want a refund by the end. You're just sitting there like, I paid $2 for this? That's could have got a McChicken or whatever, right? But I will say, thankfully, Inscryption has given me a little bit more faith in where horror gaming has been. And yes, again, this game isn't new. I've just finally gotten around to it. And I hope that anybody that sees this does as well. Because it's way too often that our niche little genre just ends up with nothing. We just keep ending up with high hopes, high price tags, especially in this economy, and a bunch of nothing. So, I'm not going to say anything else. If you haven't played this, that's kind of the basis of overall feelings. And yeah, I hope you explore after this video. So, I'll leave you with this. Think about every play carefully. or doing even one thing carelessly will result in failure. Alright, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you've played Inscryption or you truly don't care about spoilers. But again, I really suggest that if you're the like I don't care about spoilers type, it's what I do. Really click off and go play. But hey, I tried to warn you. The next thing is I was going to script this part, but I'm no actor, and trying to write my emotion about this game just felt disingenuous. So you're getting the raw, uncut, bonus, monster commentary on the rest of the game. Act 2 was a lot. I think we can agree that it was a lot. Because, first off, why was there an ARG? How did nobody spill that there was going to be an ARG side of this? That's great. And it's an ARG in the game with an ARG for outside of the game. In the files and even the actual coordinates, there were things which, man, that is a lot for such a decently priced game. Like, you get a lot, and that is fantastic. The thing that I do want to critique about the game moving forward, though, is that it demystified itself a little bit. You see, with Luke and the Lucky Carter, I would have preferred that to be the Casey kind of role. Not, verbatim, but I didn't want to become Luke. For the entire time, Leshy was talking to us, to me, and that really had the environment and me immersed into what this game became. But I think it lost a lot of that when, all of a sudden I'm Luke. The game was still good, don't get me wrong, but that was a little bit disappointing to me. If you do want to comment on that part, try to be really vague in the comments, please. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that stumbles upon this video without, turning away. So, the other thing about Act 2 is that there was a lot, and it took me way too long to realize, like, I needed to add the other types of cards into the deck to have a fighting chance. But I don't mind that as much. And then you have, after all of that, Act 3, which is the point where I became a little bit tired because I was doing the exact same thing that I did in Act 2, but with a focus on one particular system again. But the story was still good enough to keep me involved, so I'm okay with that. And while there are criticisms that I have about the game between the two acts and how it no longer had me fully immersed because of the shift in the storytelling, it was still very good to the point that I wanted to see it through to the end. And speaking about the end, I forgive this game for all of its sins because it was self-aware and made fun of itself with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Parody. That was fantastic. I laughed way longer than I would have expected when you say there's a horror game, right? That was great. So, it's such a good game. It's just such a good game. If you want to comment on this, again, please, I ask, just keep it very vague. Like, like maybe even use, like, code words and maybe I could figure out there, but this was a fantastic experience. I would love to see multiplayer in it, but at the same time I think that might ruin it. So hey, that yeah, Inscryption was insane. Like really good. I love this game. New in my top 5. But yeah. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.